There's a certain magic in being unapologetic yourself, but for many of us the idea of authenticity can feel elusive, even risky. We live in a world that's constantly nudging us to fit into molds, to present ourselves in ways that align with what's popular, acceptable, or expected. Yet in doing so, we often dilute the very essence of who we are. And here's the thing, the man of your dreams, the one who is truly meant to find you, isn't looking for a polished performance. He's looking for the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. Authenticity isn't about showing off your best traits while hiding the parts of yourself you think are flawed. It's about embracing all of it, the quirks, the vulnerabilities, the moments of brilliance, and even the stumbles along the way. But when you stand in the fullness of who you are, you create a space for someone to see you not the version you think they want, but the version that exists without pretense. Think about the people in your life who have left the deepest impressions. Odds are they weren't perfect, but they were real. They laughed too loudly, made mistakes, shared their fears, and didn't always have the answers. And yet you were drawn to them, not despite these things, but because of them. Their authenticity gave you permission to drop your own guard, to feel seen and accepted. The same is true for love. Authenticity is the foundation upon which a lasting connection is built. When you allow yourself to be real, you invite someone to do the same. It's like holding up a mirror, reflecting not only your truth, but giving them the courage to reveal theirs. And in that shared vulnerability lies the seed of true intimacy. But let's be honest, being authentic isn't always easy. We've been conditioned to believe that we must present our best selves to attract someone. We edit our words, downplay our passions, or pretend to be more interested in things we don't care about, all in the hope of being liked. Yet, every time we do this, we're sending out a message that says, who I am isn't enough. And here's the irony, the very things you might be hiding are often the things that make you most lovable. Your quirks, your unique way of seeing the world, your little habits and idiosyncrasies, these are the things that will capture the heart of the man who's meant to find you. Because the right person isn't drawn to a performance, he's drawn to a person. But there's something else to consider. Authenticity also acts as a filter. By being true to yourself, you naturally repel those who aren't aligned with your essence. And while that might feel disappointing in the moment, it's a gift in disguise. Why waste your time and energy trying to maintain a connection that requires you to dim your light? The man of your dreams will be drawn to your brilliance, not your compromise. To live authentically, you have to start by knowing yourself. What lights you up? What are your values, your passions, your dreams? What makes you feel alive? When you begin to answer these questions, you'll find it easier to show up as the real you. And the beautiful thing is, the more you embrace your authenticity, the less you'll feel the need to seek approval from others. You'll also discover a profound sense of freedom. No longer will you feel the weight of trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, you'll revel in the joy of simply being. And that joy, that sense of ease and self-acceptance is magnetic. It's the kind of energy that not only attracts people, but also inspires them to be their authentic selves. Ultimately, love isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who celebrates you, someone who sees your messy, imperfect, glorious humanity and says, yes, this is what I've been searching for. And that kind of love can only find you when you're willing to show up as you are. So let go of the need to impress or perform. Trust that being real is enough, more than enough. The man who is meant for you won't be drawn to the version of you that's crafted for approval. He'll be drawn to the you that laughs with abandon, cries when moved, and lives unapologetically from the heart. When you live authentically, you create space for love that is real, enduring, and deeply fulfilling. And that's the kind of love that changes everything. When it comes to love, timing is everything. But timing isn't just about when someone enters your life. It's also about when you're ready to recognize what's real, ready to embrace what's offered, and ready to show up as the person you've been growing into all along. Sometimes the man of your dreams doesn't appear when you think you're ready, but when life knows you truly are. You see, readiness isn't about having everything figured out. It's not about checking off some imaginary list of accomplishments or milestones that declare you worthy of love. Readiness is about alignment. It's about being in a space where your mind, heart, and spirit are open to what's possible. And let me tell you, life has a way of quietly preparing you, even when you don't realize it. Think about the seasons of your life when love felt out of reach. Maybe it was a time of heartbreak, a period of self-discovery, or a moment when everything seemed to fall apart. It's easy to look at those moments, think, why now? Why this pain? Why this loneliness? But what if those seasons were exactly what you needed to prepare you for the love that was coming? Life has a way of shaping us in the most unexpected ways. Every challenge you've faced, every lesson you've learned, every step you've taken, whether forward or backward, has been part of your preparation. Because love isn't just about finding someone who compliments you. It's about becoming the version of yourself who can truly appreciate, nurture, and sustain a deep connection. Sometimes preparation looks like healing. It's letting go of old wounds, releasing the weight of past relationships, and forgiving yourself for the mistakes you've made. Other times, it's about growth, stepping into your power, discovering your worth, and learning to love yourself in a way that doesn't depend on someone else's validation. But preparation isn't always gentle. It can feel like being stretched, pushed, or even broken. Yet in those moments of discomfort, something incredible is happening. You are being shaped into someone who can hold space for love in its truest form. Not the fleeting, surface-level kind of love, but the kind that stands the test of time. And here's the beautiful part: when you're ready, you'll start to notice things shifting. It's as though the universe begins to clear a path, aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities in ways you couldn't have imagined. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle, a conversation that sparks something within you, an unexpected moment of clarity, or a quiet realization that you're no longer the person you used to be. This readiness isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about being in tune with yourself, understanding what you truly desire, and trusting that what's meant for you won't pass you by. And when you carry that sense of trust, you radiate an energy that's impossible to ignore. The man of your dreams, the one who's meant to find you, isn't looking for someone who has it all together. He's looking for someone who's real, someone who's been through the fire and come out stronger, someone who's willing to show up fully and meet him where he is. And he'll recognize that in you, not because of anything you do to prove it, but because of who you've become. So, how do you know when you're ready? It's not something you can measure or quantify. It's a feeling. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you've done the work, the openness that comes from healing old wounds, and the courage to embrace what life has in store. It's in the moments when you stop chasing and start attracting, when you stop trying to control the outcome and trust the process, when you realize that love isn't something you have to force, it's something you allow. And when you're in that space, love has a way of finding you. It might not look like what you expected. It might not come in the timing you planned, but it will feel right. It will feel like home. So trust the preparation, trust the timing, Trust that life is aligning you with what you need, even if it doesn't make sense right now. Because when you're ready, the man of your dreams will find you not as someone who completes you, but as someone who complements the fullness of who you are. And when he does, you'll know it won't be because you chased after it or forced it to happen. It will be because you were ready to receive it. Have you ever noticed how life sometimes places people in your path in the most unexpected ways? It's as though the universe is weaving an intricate story, and you find yourself caught in a moment you couldn't have planned. When this happens, it's easy to brush it off as coincidence. But what if it's more than that? What if it's a sign, a subtle nudge from life itself, telling you that something significant is unfolding? These moments are rarely grand or theatrical. They often come in quiet ways: a chance meeting, an unplanned conversation, a feeling you can't quite put into words. It's as though the world pauses for just a moment, and in that stillness something shifts. You feel a connection not just to the other person, but to something greater, as if an invisible thread is pulling you together. The beauty of these moments is that they don't require you to have all the answers. You don't need to know where things are heading or what the outcome will be. All you need to do is pay attention. Because when life aligns you with someone, it doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. And if you're too distracted by your own expectations, you might miss it. So how do you recognize these signs? It starts with presence, being fully here, full and open and fully aware. Too often we're so caught up in our plans and projections that we overlook what's happening right in front of us. But when you slow down and tune in, you begin to see the subtle ways life is guiding you. It might come as a feeling of ease when you're around this person. You don't have to try so hard, don't have to put on a mask or pretend to be someone you're not. There's a natural flow to your interactions, as if you've known each other far longer than the time you spent together. This kind of connection isn't something you can force or fabricate. It's something you recognize, like an old song you haven't heard in years but still know every word to. Sometimes it shows up in the way your paths seem to cross again and again. Maybe you keep running into each other, or maybe the same themes and lessons keep emerging in your conversations. These aren't accidents. They're life's way of saying, pay attention. There's something here for you. But let's be clear, alignment doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean everything will be easy or that there won't be challenges. What it does mean is that there's a sense of purpose, a feeling that this connection is here to teach you something, to grow you, to bring you closer to what truly matters. And this is where trust comes in. Trust that you don't have to have all the answers right now. Trust that life knows what it's doing, even if it doesn't make sense to you yet. Trust that the timing, the circumstances, and the connection are all unfolding exactly as they're meant to. This kind of trust isn't always easy. It requires you to let go of your need to control, to predict, to plan. It asks you to step into the unknown with an open heart and a curious mind. But when you do, you create space for something extraordinary to happen. You create space for love to find you, not as a result of your efforts, but as a gift of grace. And when it does, it won't feel forced or fabricated. It will feel like coming home not just to the other person, but to yourself, because true alignment isn't just about finding someone who fits into your life. It's about becoming the person who's ready to embrace what life is offering. So when you feel that nudge, that quiet sense of connection, don't ignore it. Don't rush to explain it or define it. Just be with it. Trust that life is aligning you with someone not because you need them to complete you, but because together you're meant to create something beautiful. And as you embrace this trust, you'll find that love is a way of unfolding in its own time, in its own way. It may not look like what you expected, but it will feel exactly as it should. That's the beauty of alignment. It doesn't demand anything from you except your willingness to receive it. And when you do, you'll know you're exactly where you're meant to be. But sometimes life has a way of highlighting someone in your life through moments of stillness and clarity. It's not always loud or reasonably obvious. Often it feels like an inner knowing, a quiet pull that you can't quite explain. Maybe it comes as a thought that lingers longer than usual, or as a sense of peace when you're around this person. It doesn't shout for your attention, but it doesn't fade away either. Instead, it stays with you, gently urging you to look deeper. These moments of clarity are not random. They're life's way of getting your attention, showing you something that your logical mind might overlook. And in these moments, it's not about making sense of everything. It's about listening, paying attention to what you feel beneath the surface. You see, when life aligns you with someone, it often does so through an unfolding series of experiences that bring you closer. It's not a single event or revelation, but rather a collection of small, meaningful encounters that build upon one another. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice how these moments create a kind of resonance, a harmony that feels natural, unforced. This is where vulnerability comes into play. True connection requires you to step beyond the walls you've built, the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve. It's easy to carry the weight of past experiences, to let old fears and doubts shape your present. But when life places someone in your path, it's often an invitation to let go of those barriers, to trust that you're safe in their presence. Vulnerability isn't about exposing every detail of your life. It's about being honest, first with yourself and then with the other person. It's about showing up as you are without pretense or fear of judgment. And when you do, you create a space where true connection can grow. This kind of connection isn't about convenience or surface-level attraction. It's about depth, about seeing and being seen in a way that feels profoundly real. But here's the thing: vulnerability takes courage. It asks you to take risks, to face the possibility of rejection or misunderstanding. And yet it's through this courage that you open yourself to the beauty of alignment. Because when you're willing to be vulnerable, you create the conditions for something authentic to take root. And authenticity, after all, is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. Sometimes this process of alignment feels like a mirror. The person life places in your path reflects back to you parts of yourself, your fears, your hopes, your hidden potential. It can be uncomfortable, even challenging to see yourself so clearly. But it's also a gift, an opportunity to grow in ways you might not have imagined. And as you grow, you begin to see that the connection isn't just about the other person. It's also about your own journey, your own unfolding. This reflection often reveals lessons you need to learn, patterns you need to break, or truths you need to embrace. It might challenge you to reconsider what you thought you wanted, or to let go of what no longer serves you. And in doing so, it brings you closer to your true self. Because alignment isn't just about finding someone who fits into your life. It's about becoming the person who's ready for the kind of connection life is offering. And so, as these moments of clarity unfold, let yourself lean in. Notice how your heart feels when you're around this person. Pay attention to the energy between you, the way conversations flow, the way silence feels comfortable rather than awkward. These are the signs that life is quietly aligning you with someone, not through force or effort, but through grace and presence. Remember, it's not about rushing to define the connection or figuring out where it's headed. It's about being present, open, and curious. It's about trusting the process, even if it doesn't unfold the way you expected. Because true alignment isn't about control, it's about allowing. It's about letting life lead you step by step, moment by moment. And as you navigate this journey, let yourself be guided by what feels true. Trust that when life aligns you with someone, it's not just for a fleeting moment or a surface-level connection. It's for something deeper, something meaningful. And as you embrace this truth, you'll find that the path ahead becomes clearer, not because you've figured it all out, but because you've learned to trust the unfolding. In the end, alignment isn't something you chase or create. It's something you recognize, something you allow. And when you do, you'll discover that the person life has aligned you with isn't just someone who complements you, they're someone who reflects the beauty and potential within you. And that, my friends, is where true connection begins. When life begins aligning you with someone, it's not always about dramatic moments or declarations. Instead, there's often a quiet consistency that emerges. This person shows up not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and energetically. And this kind of presence, subtle yet unwavering, begins to reveal something profound about the connection. It's as though the universe is whispering to you, saying, "Look closer. There's something here." Presence is one of the purest forms of connection. It's not about the grand gestures or the perfectly timed words. It's about someone being there day after day in ways that matter. They remember the small things you said, not because they're trying to impress you, but because they genuinely care. They're not just around when it's convenient or exciting. They're there even in the quiet moments, the unremarkable stretches of life. And in their presence, you feel a kind of safety, a kind of grounding. This consistency is one of the signs life uses to guide you. You begin to notice how this person's actions align with their words. They don't just talk about being there for you, they show it. They're the kind of person who will pick up the phone when you call, who will listen without judgment when you need to speak, who will stand by you even when life gets messy. And this kind of reliability isn't something you can fake or force. It's a reflection of their character, of their genuine alignment with you. Now, let's be honest. In a world that often values instant gratification, consistency can feel understated, even boring to some. But that's a paradox, isn't it? The most profound connections aren't built on highs, on fleeting highs or dramatic moments. They're built on the steady rhythm of someone showing up again and again. It's in this rhythm that trust is formed, that intimacy deepens, that the real magic happens. But consistency isn't just about their actions. It's also about how they make you feel. Do you feel seen, valued, and respected in their presence? Do they make space for you to be your full, authentic self? Do you find that their energy is steady, calming, and supportive, rather than chaotic or unpredictable? These are the questions to ask yourself, because life doesn't align you with someone who destabilizes your spirit. It aligns you with someone who brings a sense of balance and harmony. See, the steadiness doesn't mean the connection will always be perfect or without challenges. Life has a way of testing even the strongest bonds. But when someone is aligned with you, their consistency becomes a source of strength, a reminder that you're not navigating life alone. They don't waver when things get hard. They don't retreat when faced with your imperfections or vulnerabilities. Instead, they lean in, showing you that their commitment isn't just a fair weather promise, it's rooted in something deeper. And perhaps most importantly, this consistency gives you permission to relax. When someone's actions and words align, when their presence is steady and genuine, you don't have to second-guess their intentions. You don't have to play games or keep your guard up. Instead, you can let yourself be open, honest, and real. You can let go of the need to control or impress, because you know that this person values you for who you are, not for what you can do or give. Over time, this kind of presence begins to shape you as well. You start to reflect their consistency, their steadiness in your own way. You find yourself becoming more grounded, more trusting, more willing to show up fully. And in this mutual exchange of energy, the connection deepens. It's no longer just about what they bring to your life, it's about the way you grow together, the way you inspire and support each other. Life doesn't align you with someone by accident. It doesn't waste its energy on connections that are superficial or fleeting. When someone's presence is a constant in your life, when their actions consistently reflect care and authenticity, it's a sign to pay attention. This kind of connection isn't just about compatibility or attraction. It's about alignment with your values, your path, your soul. So, if you find someone whose presence feels like this, don't take it for granted. Don't overlook the beauty of their steadiness, the quiet power of their consistency. Because in a world that often celebrates the fleeting and the flashy, it's the steady presence of someone aligned with you that will truly transform your life. And when you recognize this, when you see the gift of this kind of connection, hold it close. Because life doesn't always shout when it's aligning you with someone. Sometimes it speaks in whispers in the steady rhythm of someone simply being there. And that, my friends, is where true connection begins. When life aligns you with someone in a way that feels divinely orchestrated, there's often a sense of timing that seems beyond your control. It's not just about their arrival in your life, it's about the way the moments leading up to it, and the ones that follow seem to fall into place. This is the kind of alignment that makes you pause and wonder, could this be more than coincidence? You see, timing is everything. It's not about rushing or forcing. It's about life knowing exactly when you're ready, when they're ready for something meaningful to unfold. And readiness isn't just about having all your pieces together. In fact, sometimes it's when things feel most uncertain, when life feels messy or incomplete, that the timing becomes perfect. Why? Because alignment doesn't require perfection. It requires openness. It requires you to be in a state where you can recognize what's being placed in front of you. The beauty of this kind of timing is how it often comes with warning. Perhaps you weren't even looking for connection. Perhaps you were busy focusing on your own journey, tending to your growth, healing from past experiences. And yet, life has a way of bringing someone into your orbit, just when you've created the space for it. This doesn't mean you're without challenges or doubts. It means you've reached a point where your heart and mind are open enough to embrace something new, something unexpected. But alignment isn't just about when they show up. It's also about how things unfold once they do. There's a natural flow to the way you connect, a sense of ease that feels almost effortless. Conversations don't feel forced. Silence doesn't feel uncovered. There's no rush to define or control what's happening because deep down you sense that there's a greater rhythm at work. It's as though life is saying, trust this, trust the timing, let it unfold. Of course, with this kind of timing is often a test of patience. Sometimes life aligns you with someone, but the circumstances don't immediately make sense. Perhaps there's distance or responsibilities that pull you in different directions. Perhaps there's growth that still needs to happen on both sides. And in those moments, it's easy to feel frustration, to wonder why things aren't falling into place faster. But remember, alignment doesn't always mean immediate gratification. It means trusting that what's meant to be will be in its own time. This trust is essential. It allows you to let go of the need to control every outcome. It allows you to move through uncertainty with grace, knowing that if this connection is truly aligned, it will withstand the tests of time and circumstance. Trust doesn't mean sitting idly by, it means showing up with authenticity, with openness, while also allowing life to do its part. And let's not forget the importance of gratitude. When someone enters your life in this way, it's a gift. Even if the timing feels inconvenient, even if the circumstances feel challenging, there's a reason this connection has been placed in your path. Life doesn't make mistakes in its alignments. There's always a purpose, even if it's not immediately clear. Sometimes it's to teach you something about yourself. Sometimes it's to help you heal. And sometimes it's to show you what's possible when you let go of resistance and embrace what's unfolding. When you reflect on timing, you begin to see how everything that led up to this moment was necessary. The heart anchors, the lessons, the growth, it all prepared you to receive this connection. And it's not just about what they bring into your life. It's about who you've become in the process, about the way you've opened yourself to possibility. This is why alignment feels so profound. It's not just about the connection itself, it's about the timing, the readiness, the willingness to trust. It's about recognizing that life's timing is rarely about what you want and always about what you need. And when you align with this understanding, you stop fighting against the flow. You stop questioning why things didn't happen sooner or why they're unfolding in a particular way. Instead, you begin to see the perfection in the timing, the way everything is falling into place exactly as it should. And so, when you find yourself aligned with someone in this way, pay attention. Listen to the quiet nudges, the synchronicities, the feeling in your heart that says there's right, and even if the path forward isn't as immediately clear, trust that the timing is. Trust that life is moving you both towards something greater than what you could have planned. It's just because, my friends, when life aligns you with someone, it's not just about the connection itself, it's about the way it transforms you, the way it teaches you to trust, to let go, and to embrace the beauty of what's unfolding. And that in itself is a gift worth cherishing.